and he's made a complete mincemeat of us. So that's the sense I get within the opposition party, that this was something which could have easily been avoided, because they knew that the Prime Minister is at its best when he really talks about issues of nationalism and national security. The PM, I mean, I don't have to repeat because everyone has been saying this. The PM, I think, has very categorically responded to all the allegations. I think the sting was taken out when the Operation Mahadev details were given out by the Home Minister earlier today. The Prime Minister did not dwell too much on it, but he made a reference to it. He also made a veiled attack on Sonia Gandhi, talking about the Butler House. And he ends up by taking a dig on the silencing of Tharoor and Manish Tiwari. But he also said at the same time that appeal to the Congress leaders, don't come under any pressure of the family, which means, according to the BJP, according to the Prime Minister, it's the Gandhis who are responsible for this anti-national narrative. No closure yet, because I can still see how voices, as I stand right over here on the steps of the Makar Dwara Parliament, reactions are coming in from the Congress leaders. And as expected, they've given a complete thumbs down to the Prime Minister's speech. But that doesn't take away the reality and the fact that the Prime Minister has actually completely crushed and crumbled all the allegations which have been made by the Congress specifically over the last couple of weeks.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Aman Sharma, Pallavi Ghosh, Arunima, thank you for joining us and putting that into perspective for our viewers. I want to play out some of the bites. It was a day of fireworks and some heavyweight speakers in the Lok Sabha today. Of course, concluding that debate on Operation Sindoor was the Prime Minister. But before him, there were a number of speakers, including Rahul Gandhi, the leader of the opposition. I want to play out some bites. It started off, of course, with Home Minister Amit Shah, who was the first speaker today, and he confirmed the news first of the 3 Pahalgam terrorists, the Baisaran attackers, being neutralized in the encounter that happened in Kashmir yesterday. But I want to first play out what the Prime Minister said, some of the excerpts of his speech, and then we'll open it up to our guests.
Donald Trump, 29 times he said, 29 बार उन्होंने बोला कि भैया मैंने सीज फायर करवाया। अगर वो झूठ बोल रहे हैं तो अपने भाषण में यहाँ प्रधानमंत्री कह दें कि वो झूठ बोल रहे हैं। If he has the courage of Indira Gandhi, let him say here, let him say here that Donald Trump, you're a liar. That you did not make a ceasefire and that we did not lose any planes. Let him say it here. 50% भी है इंदिरा गांधी का, तो यहाँ बोल दें।
अध्यक्ष जी, दुनिया के किसी भी नेता ने भारत के ऑपरेशन रोकने के लिए नहीं कहा। 9 तारीख को रात को अमेरिका के उपराष्ट्रपति जी ने मुझसे बात करने का प्रयास किया। वो घंटे भर कोशिश कर रहे थे, लेकिन मेरी सेना के साथ मीटिंग चल रही थी, तो मैंने उनका फोन उठा नहीं पाया। बाद में मैंने उनको कॉल बैक किया। मैंने कहा कि आपका फोन था, 3-4 बार आपका फोन आ गया, क्या है? तो अमेरिका के उपराष्ट्रपति जी ने मुझे फोन पे बताया कि पाकिस्तान बहुत बड़ा हमला करने वाला है। ये उन्होंने मुझे बताया। मेरा जो जवाब था, जिनको समझ नहीं आता है उनको तो नहीं आएगा। मेरा जवाब था, अगर पाकिस्तान का ये इरादा है तो उसे बहुत महंगा पड़ेगा।
Not a single country has condemned Pakistan. Everybody has condemned terrorism. What does it mean? That the world is equating us with Pakistan.
ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के दौरान पाकिस्तान के समर्थन में बयान दिया था। Only 3 countries, क्वाड हो, ब्रिक्स हो, फ्रांस, रूस, जर्मनी, कोई भी देश का नाम ले लीजिए, तमाम देश दुनिया भर से भारत को समर्थन मिला है। लेकिन ये दुर्भाग्य है कि मेरे देश के वीरों के पराक्रम को कांग्रेस का समर्थन नहीं।
No holds barred attack by the Prime Minister on all the talking points, on all the attacking points that were made by the opposition, including by Rahul Gandhi, the leader of the opposition. Does this now settle the debate around Operation Sindoor once and for all? We'll open this up to our political panelists. Aparajita Sarangi, Lok Sabha Member of Parliament of the BJP, will be joining us. Lavu Krishna is a Lok Sabha Member of Parliament of the TDP. Rajat Sethi, political analyst, joining us. Gurdeep Singh Sapal, National Spokesperson of the Congress. Selam Dharanidaran, Spokesperson of the DMK. Mr. Sapal, let me start with you. So the Prime Minister there laying the record straight that no world leader has said that India needs to stop or urged India to move towards a ceasefire. Does this now settle the debate that many within your party were also asking? Why is Donald Trump going on saying that he's the one who, stopped this war?
Thank you. Prime Minister did say that no world leader has talked to him, but he could not gather the courage to either name once Trump by name or bring in the China. You have been saying in your introduction that he answered to all the questions raised by the opposition party. But I'm sad to point out that he did not answer to the question of intelligence failure in Pahalgam. He did not answer about the Pakistan-China military integration, which our military leaders have been talking about. He was quite completely silent about it. He did not answer why a ceasefire was announced in the first place. People have been asking this question. There was complete silence on this. And here is a Prime Minister who went on attacking opposition throughout the debate, the same opposition which strongly stood by the government of India, completely with the nation, and supported government of India. And here is an ungrateful Prime Minister who began his speech by questioning the defense preparedness of earlier government, forgetting fully well that he inherited a nation which was a nuclear power. He inherited a nation which was a space power, which was a missile power, which was a IT power. He inherited such a strong nation. And he went on attacking the opposition party and Congress party and did not answer specifically about intelligence failure. We have Jammu Kashmir Lieutenant Governor accepting, but Prime Minister is mum about it. So Parliament is a platform to answer about the questions raised by the opposition. And by the way, in your introduction, you said tantrums. I strongly object to your definition of parliamentary intervention by opposition parties as tantrums. I put my opposition on record.
That's fair enough. I want to go across to Aparajita Sarangi. So the questions that the opposition has raised, Mr. Sapal of the Congress Party saying that none of that has been answered by the Prime Minister, whether it's intelligence failure, whether it is this two-front war being fused into one front, China and Pakistan now becoming a combined fused front, Chinese military equipment being used by the Pakistan army. None of those questions. And also on the question of why didn't the Prime Minister name Trump and say that no world leader, including Trump, was responsible for the ceasefire or nudged India to move towards a ceasefire?
I can only say that the opposition members who are saying that they did not get the answers have not heard the speech of Prime Minister Modi, which was for more than 1.5 hours. And I think it was a detailed explanation as regards Operation Sindoor. Nothing was there in his speech which I would say was away from the points raised by the opposition party, including the Congress. Now, let me tell you, there was a question from Rahul Gandhi ji. Can Prime Minister come to the floor of the House? Can in the Lok Sabha he can stand and say that Trump did not tell him to go for ceasefire? Now, in many words, the Prime Minister said that nobody in this world has told India to go for ceasefire. I think this world includes Mr. Trump also. I think Mr. Chappal and others must realize that the explanation of Prime Minister Modi was absolutely detailed. He dwelt upon every issue and he went back and forth, went back to history, talked about the present and the kind of India that he wants to create in future, and he solicited everybody's support. So I think he talked of Bharat, he talked of everybody's support, and he thanked everybody for being supported at the time of, waging the war against Pakistan. And he very rightly said that हमें युद्ध नहीं, हमें बुद्ध चाहिए. What does it mean? It means that war has never been India's choice. And that is why, since we focus on development, since we really want to move ahead and become a developed nation, it's very important to focus on progress and development. And for that matter, Anybody, any country, whosoever, whether Pakistan or any other country, cannot create disturbances within India, and there is absolutely zero tolerance towards terrorism.
Okay.
So I think
So let me
we have
ask
to understand
Selam
the spirit
Dharanidharan.
of Prime Minister Modi's speech.
Prime Minister
Yeah.
also expanded about, this call that happened on the 9th of May. The US Vice President, Mr. Vance, tried to call him. Today we've got details from the Prime Minister's speech that on multiple occasions, 3 or 4 occasions, Vance tried to call him. The Prime Minister could not take the call because he was busy in meetings with the Defence Forces, with the Army, Navy and Air Force. And then when he called him back, Mr. Vance warned him of a big attack coming from Pakistan, and to which Prime Minister Modi said, if Pakistan is planning something like that, then an even bigger attack will come from India. Goli ka jawab gola se diya jayega. And that is what happened on the intervening night between the 9th of May and the 10th of May. And finally, because India's action against Pakistan was so consequential, was so devastating, that it was the Pakistani DGMO who begged the Indian DGMO for a ceasefire. Should that not settle this debate, Mr. Dharanidharan? We've had this debate for the last 3 months now, since the 9th and 10th of May. Should this not be settled once and for all now?
See, firstly and foremost, I'd like to reiterate my leader's stance. During Operation Sindoor, the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, M.K. Stalin, said he stands with the government of India and he stands with the nation. Having said that, it is very wrong for the BJP to say that the opposition can't ask questions. Only 37% of the people in this country have elected the BJP government. Remaining 63% have voted for the opposition, which means when we ask questions, it's not the questions of the opposition. It's the question from the people who we are representing. That is 63% of the population, the majority of the population. That is an important point. So I will go away from what you asked me, right? You told me, okay, the Pakistani counterpart begged the Indian counterpart saying, stop the war. In that case, why do you do it? You should have gone ahead with the war and got the Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, like how the Congress did in 1971. We got Bangladesh back. And again, Operation Sindoor, we have forgotten another thing. Why did Pahalgam happen? It's a clear intelligence failure. 26 people died. In 2008 Bombay terrorist attack, when people were killed, what happened? Home Minister took responsibility, Shivraj Patel, and resigned. So what happens to this Home Minister, Amit Shah ji, right? Manipur happened, now this, and there's a lot of drugs coming into the country also. Internal security is responsibility. Why is he not resigning? Same thing, the railway minister is also not resigning. How many railway crashes have happened? So we want someone in the government to take responsibility, right, and accountability. Again, Prime Minister, when he spoke, he said, oh, all countries supported. No, what did France say? France did acknowledge India's anti-terror needs, but also urged for restraint and civilian protection. What did Russia say? Russia said de-escalation. Took a very neutral stand. Russia has always been an important partner of India. But what did Russia do? It urged for de-escalation. Similarly, I am saying that Trump has said 29 times, I asked for the ceasefire. Why is the Prime Minister not condemning Trump?
No, but today he said in as many words, without naming Trump, of course, that no world leader,
Why not? Why
no world leader stopped India from continuing with the operation, or no world leader nudged India to to go for a ceasefire. He said that.
I can at least tell you 10 to 12 countries which are friendly towards India have called for de-escalation, and they said there should be dialogue to solve this. That is the important point. See, I am not against India going and fighting, but if we had fought, we should have got Pakistan occupied Kashmir. Why is the reason? If they were in the back foot, if we were winning, which I agree from what the military personnel have said, why did we not go ahead and get Pakistan occupied Kashmir? This was an opportune movement, like how in 1971 we got.
But that was never the objective of Operation Sindoor. The objective of Operation Sindoor was to avenge Pahalgam and to take down the terror hideouts and the terror epicenters. Murid Ke, Bahawalpur, Muzaffarabad, etc.
No. Who determines the objectives? You ask a poll with the people of India, they would have said the objective is to get Pakistan occupied Kashmir back, right? Government represents the people. So as opposition, we are representing the people. And representing the people, I'm asking you the question, why you did not get Pakistan occupied Kashmir back?
So the question the opposition believes has still not been answered. India was on the front foot, Pakistan was on the back foot. And admittedly, as the Prime Minister said, the Home Minister said, Pakistan was brought down to its knees after the attack on 11 of its frontline air bases. We were at an advantageous position. Why did we stop?
Well, Jaka, you know about it that it's not like taking a morning stroll, and while taking a morning stroll, you instead of going on one road, you decide to cover extra ground and just come back. Operations and military operations aren't designed like this. There are specific objectives, and it is uncomparable. You have to be really idiot or stupid to actually think that it is comparable to 1971. In 1971, the groundswell for self-determination by the Bengali part of the erstwhile Pakistan was already there. All that was needed was a nudge. Today, if you were to occupy POK, how would you hold POK? It requires a lot of detailed strategies and plannings and groundswell, by the way, in order to achieve those objectives. And these cannot be made in the middle of a terror attack, and while we are trying to avenge the terror attack. I don't know where does this absolutely sort of silly thinking of military operations come from? Can you imagine, Jaka, if we were pushed into a long drawn war? There is a very thin line between a short surgical operation versus you dragging the entire country into a long war situation. What would have happened if the operation would have resulted and slipped into that scenario where we were having these exchanges in perpetuity? You need to therefore have very clearly determined objectives when you take an offensive route. The objectives were laid out, the objectives were met, and the objectives post meeting, Pakistan was brought to the knees, and this is the reason why Pakistan called. India did not go anywhere, and this is what I have been maintaining, and a lot of sane minds in this country have been maintaining. But the opposition wants to create this entire hoopla around the fact that you can casually go out and occupy take over land and territory,
really?
and there will be no reaction at all from anywhere in the world. It doesn't happen like
Congress has
that.
been blamed
There is a
so
degree
far
of
for not
proportionality.
taking
So I
Okay,
didn't
one
step
at
in when
a
you were
time, let him
butting
finish.
it.
One at a time,
Please,
yeah.
again, sir, again, let me tell you, when you are operating in an international setting, you need to have a proportionality in order to maintain the moral quest that is backing your offensive. And I believe India did that in the best possible way. And it has been now, said in no uncertain terms by the Prime Minister. See, I don't pity the opposition at this stage. I think, see, they are in the business of doing opposition. They will continue to oppose whatever is said. Let them do it. I mean, it is the common citizen who has to be mature to understand and not fall for these kind of, bizarre statements that the opposition puts out. They're saying that the Prime Minister should actually condemn Trump. Is this how international relations are executed? I'm sorry, sir. Today, Prime Minister, in no uncertain terms and with clear signal, has said it out. What else do you want?
Okay.
See, this is where
Lavu Krishna of the TDP is also joining us. Mr. Krishna, you were there participating in the debate. I'm sure you heard all the speakers as well, including the Prime Minister speaking for over an hour and a half, point by point, rebutting whatever the accusations, the allegations, the questions that the opposition had. But the opposition is still not satisfied. The opposition is saying, why didn't he name Trump on the floor of the House and say that Mr. Trump is not the one who, created this ceasefire or pushed India towards a ceasefire? And two, this question that Rahul Gandhi asked, there is no longer a two-front war, it's a fused front. Chinese military is giving real-time satellite data and real-time vectors to the Pakistani military. That's his allegation. He's saying that he had warned about this a year and a half ago when he spoke in Parliament, but the government did not take him seriously.
The first thing that you asked was with regards to, I think one is with regards to China and Pakistan. The other is with regards to why Prime Minister didn't take the name of Trump. Opposition has been trying to scale this issue and pick holes in whatever the government is trying to achieve here, instead of actually appreciating what we have achieved with Operation Sindoor, what the message we have sent to Pakistan and what message we have sent to the world also. And when we went on a delegation to other countries, they appreciated the stand we have taken. They appreciated the way that we haven't escalated to a next level where the whole region gets destabilized. And when everyone is appreciating, I don't know why the opposition can't see that. And when we started the Operation Sindoor, we didn't take any permission from any country. When we stopped the Operation Sindoor, why will we take permission from any country? It's simple as that. And not just Trump, any other country. So that's the first thing. Second thing is with regards to India and China. When you talk about it, if Pakistan and China, if they fought or they're together or they didn't fight together, whatever it is, whatever the case it was, but end of it, India has come out with a more more achievements possible in the whole war scenario. So even the Western world is saying the same thing, that in the whole war that has taken place, India has done so well, and and we were able to hit their bases, not just at the borders, but actually 120 kilometers inside the border.
Correct.
So when every one is saying that, I don't know why the opposition has this idea that that this has gone wrong, that has gone wrong. The opposition is only wasting their time just trying to pick holes rather than actually look at the
this is
whole
the first
situation
time since 1971 that as far deep places like Noor Khan, Rahim Yar Khan, Jacobabad, Murid Air Base, these are all hundreds of kilometers inside Pakistan. Not even in Kargil war, we hit inside Pakistan so deep. Operation Sindoor did that on the intervening night of 9th and 10th of May. Why is the opposition, begrudging that? 11 air bases, frontline air bases were taken out.
Where did you read that opposition is grudging that?
Where
did you read this? Did you hear a single opposition leader criticize the attack by our armed forces?
The question you're asking, Mr. Sapal, is why didn't you go further? India is not in the business of war, is it? The Indian objective was to reply to terror. And India has done that.
Rajat, it was, I don't know from where Rajat heard that it was a short surgical operation. Government has not said so. It was people from BJP, it was channels, including your channel, who told people that it's a full-fledged war. Our army is reaching to Karachi, our army is reaching Islamabad. It was told by BJP sources, Indian media. Opposition never said it. Opposition stood by Indian armed forces during the entire operation. Issue is what went wrong at the government end. And what went wrong, I can tell you. For the first time, we saw a complete integration of Pakistan and China. Now, Prime Minister today in Lok Sabha said that there has been no new doctrine in recent years, only he has done it. Totally false. In 2006, when UPA was in power, this two-nation doctrine came into, two-war front doctrine came into being. After that, it is 20 years. There's been no revision in the last 11 years. In 2016, China integrated its entire command under Special Security Front, SSF. We are 9 years since China upgraded its doctrine, and our government has been sleeping over it. It did not do anything. Today's PM's response was full of lies like this. Like he said, we have tripled the defense budget. I'll tell you, during UPA, the defense budget was above 15%. And under Modi, it is below 13%. In actual terms, it has dropped. Now, this is what he can claim, that it has tripled, because in absolute number, budget figures go up. But the share of defense has dropped by 2% in Modi's regime. He went on and on about Indus Valley Treaty. Let me tell you, for Indus Valley water, whatever be the treaty, there are 70 irrigation projects. 70 have been started by non-BJP governments. Prime Minister Modi kept silent that 11 years of his rule and 7 years of Vajpayee's rule, 18 years, BJP did not build a single irrigation project in Indus Valley area. So he keeps on saying things which are completely half-lies. Like he said about Siachen, that India was ready to surrender Siachen. Siachen was controlled by Rajiv Gandhi government in 1984. And since then, our armed forces have been there in Siachen. When was India surrendered? So there are so many things Prime Minister lied about. And I'm using consciously this word lied. He lied about in Parliament, attacked opposition instead of attacking Pakistan, instead of naming China.
Aparajita Sarangi, Rahul Gandhi also made this point, while BJP speaker after speaker named Pakistan, and we've done this to Pakistan, done that to Pakistan, why is nobody naming China? He even quoted the External Affairs Minister and said, oh, they are the bigger economy, I'm the smaller economy, what do you expect me to do? He's basically saying that this whole thing is now a fused war between China and Pakistan, and we are much behind the curve. This is a wake-up call for us. That's the contention of the leader of the opposition.
Very emphatically, I will put forth 2 points. Number one, it was a war very well fought out by India. We are aware of the fact that a couple of air bases of Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir and terrorist infrastructures were demolished and more than 100 terrorists were killed. There is no denying these facts. This is one. Number two, let me tell you
Nobody
that
has
the
denied it.
war was against Pakistan. So why should Prime Minister talk about China? I think this is common sense. I fail to understand why did the leader of opposition at all talk about China. The war was against Pakistan. And another
Ask
thing
your
I would
defense
definitely
people,
like to point
defense
out
leaders.
that as far as the Indus Water Treaty of 1960 is concerned, if you read the preamble of the treaty, which I have gone through, the treaty preamble says, the treaty is signed by both the countries, India and Pakistan, as a mark of friendship and goodwill. Now, on April 22nd in Pahalgam, when 26 Bharatiyas or 26 tourists are killed, where is the friendship and goodwill? Now, the order, as far as, keeping the water treaty in abeyance is concerned, let me tell you that the order says that the water treaty of 1960 is kept in abeyance by India credibly and irrevocably until Pakistan abjures its support for terrorism. So I think as far as India is concerned, as far as our government under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi is concerned, we know what we are doing, and here I think all Indians are in support of what Prime Minister Modi has done. So, and in fact, Prime Minister Modi, when he started his speech, 1.5 hour speech, actually thanked the opposition, thanked everybody for supporting him. But at this juncture, I don't think we can talk Pakistan's language. We should actually, clap for the armed forces.
So
and the
before I go to
which
Salem,
did what it
Dharidhar
had
and
to
Mr.
do under
Sapal,
the
can I ask you a
circumstances.
question? I mean, you say opposition is backing the government, opposition was part of these multi-party delegations. Why did you not allow the members of your party who went as part of these delegations, some of them led those delegations, to speak in Parliament today?
Well, are you saying that today, in Parliament, Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi should not have been spoken?
No, that's not what I meant. That's not a single member of the Congress party who went as part of these delegations was chosen to speak. Why?
Let me tell you, I was there when the proposal from government came, and Congress party gave its name. It never shied away from giving name. Even when government picked up the names without consulting us, we supported those MPs to go with delegation. We completely supported the delegations. Our leaders, when they were part of delegation, spoke in one voice as per the government's brief. This is what nationalism is all about. What we are saying is, all these delegations went around the country. In most of the countries, they did not get appointment with either prime minister or president of that country. In most of the countries, this was government's diplomatic job. They should have done it. And after that, none of the countries came forward and condemned Pakistan. And you must remember also that after Operation Sindoor, after the entire diplomatic groundwork done by Modi government, there was an election for the chairmanship of UNSC on a rotation basis. Pakistan was the candidate. 193 countries had to vote. 108 did not vote. 182 voted for Pakistan. 2 countries stood with India. 2 countries. This is a Vishwa Guru who has only 2 chelas. We expected Prime Minister will at least name those 2 friendly countries in Lok Sabha today. This is a situation where entire opposition joins hands with government, goes around the world, and only 2 countries support.
But you still haven't answered why you didn't allow your members who went as part of these delegations to speak in Parliament today. But anyway, leave it at that.
We put our best foot
No,
forward.
anyway, let me ask Rajat Sethi, the point that the Congress has been making, right after Operation Sindoor happened, right after May 9th, 10th, the IMF goes and makes a major bailout package for Pakistan. To this whole idea of Asim Munir, General Asim Munir, being feted for lunch at the White House, and this whole business of rehyphenation of India and Pakistan. India had successfully sort of dehyphenated itself over the last 20 years from Pakistan. Now, because of the policies of the Modi government, the opposition is alleging that India and Pakistan are clubbed in the same boat. Rajat.
Well, if Pakistan attacks us and we respond, the whole world is going to see that conflict from an India-Pakistan conflict. This is the unfortunate part or the unfortunate fallout of what happens typically when when conflict happens and happens this way. Also, keep this in mind, Jaka. The non-state actors were deployed by Pakistan to maintain deniability. India crushed this strategy of Pakistan by going in all out, all in into the territory of Pakistan. And for a lot of countries around the world, they feel that the proofs have to be given, the dossiers have to be given. Typically, how the Congress approach to terror attacks in our country has been. So the whole world was used to that style of operating. And here India was seen that as if they were making that move, and this is where I believe some confusion was deliberately created around the world, and a lot of parroting was done by the Congress colleagues here who were making ridiculous statements all throughout the operation itself. Now this is where what happens in international relations. If Israel is going out and attacking, no country is going to come out and clap. Okay, they'll just turn their faces, look the other side, and allow Israel to do what it does, what it has been doing. This is what is tacit understanding and mature democracies or countries around the world react to. And I believe when India took this position that if Pakistan uses non-state actors to attack us, we will go all in and make an offense-based response. And no country came out and condemned India, which implies that it was a tacit support that several major countries. Look at US also, Jaka, for that matter. Did US at any point condemn India's operations? No, that in itself is a tacit support.
So,
of
in
that.
fact, in
That's how
the
it is
last
done
few days,
internationally.
the TRF has now been designated by the US State Department as a global terrorist organization, a GTO. But Selam Dharanidharan, the point, Selam Dharanidharan, is that India responded befittingly. India took out some of these major terror launch pads. In 2008, the then air chief is on record to say that he told the political leadership, we have the capability of hitting these terror launch pads across the line of control. And the political leadership said, no, we don't want to. It's been documented in a number of books, including Mr. Pranab Mukherjee's book, who was foreign minister at that time. Today, you have a situation where from Bahawalpur to Muridke to Muzaffarabad, deep inside Pakistan, they've hit. Surely that should be appreciated. Surely this, plausible deniability between state and non-state actor has been completely thrashed.
I thank Rajat Sethi for ridiculing the defense minister by saying only a stupid and fool would compare to Operation Sindoor with 1971, like he did yesterday. That's exactly what the defense minister said. And again, when he said taking Pakistan occupied Kashmir is not a joke, then what was the Prime Minister doing from 99 until today? He was always saying, why did the Congress not take Pakistan occupied Kashmir back? It was there in the manifesto of the BJP that they will take back Pakistan occupied Kashmir. Amit Shah, as recent as May, said POKs asked, we will get it back. I'm only asking for what they promised us. So Rajat Sethi cannot come here and fool people thinking that people won't understand what the Prime Minister spoke, what the Home Minister spoke, and what the Defense Minister spoke yesterday. Our memory is not that short. My question, and no one has answered about why is the Home Minister not taking responsibility for the intelligence failure? No one here answered that. Maybe after me, the TDP spokesman who will speak, also the Honorable MP, can answer why the Home Minister has not taken responsibility after continuous failure after failure, after failure after failure. And war is not a solution for everything. Sometimes diplomacy can do wonders. Right? After 2008, even though we did not go for a war, but we got a lot of sanctions for Pakistan, and that hurt them a lot. Right? It's not going and fighting. We're not living in the caves anymore. There are a lot of ways in which you can punish a country. That need not be war, that need not be weapons. That could be diplomacy. Do we have the diplomacy to what I know? No, we do not.
Okay.
But I do appreciate the army and the military for standing by this country. That has nothing to do with BJP. The military does not belong to the BJP, is what I'm trying to say. Right? When we are speaking in the opposition, it is not because we want to ridicule the BJP or any of the institutions involved in Operation Sindoor. Only to ask questions to make sure next time we do it much better. Our job is to
Mr. Lavu Krishna of the TDP, what about accountability? There was an intelligence failure that led to these 3 or 4 terrorists coming in and in broad daylight shooting dead 26 innocent civilians. Somebody has to take accountability for it. The LG of Jammu and Kashmir says he is responsible for the security failure, and yet there is no accountability. He's not asked to go.
On the all-party meeting after the Pahalgam happened, it was very clearly given, the details were very clearly given to us. Normally, when a new area opens up in Kashmir for tourism or for other purposes, the area domination happens by our Jammu Kashmir police, paramilitary and military goes there and do the area domination. But here, this is the area designated to open 2 weeks later for the tourism. But as for the information, the area was, the tourists were taken there without informing the local police or local law enforcement. So this was the reason that untoward thing has happened. But obviously, the actions has been taken. Immediately, the Home Minister flew down there. Whatever necessary corrections has to be taken, it has been taken by Home Minister himself. So obviously, there will be definitely changes in the way that our military operates, paramilitary operates, our police people operate.
Okay.
It's not about that was not a time to put the blame on someone and find the blame game.
No, but that happened 3 months ago. Shouldn't questions be asked today, after 3 months, of why that happened and who should be held responsible for why that happened? Somebody needs to take accountability for it.
Yes, definitely. There's an incident that has happened. Definitely, there will be investigation that will be happening. Why that has happened? Why that area which is supposed to be open 2 weeks later has opened much more earlier without letting any army personnel, any law enforcement is there. So definitely there will be investigation going into that. Definitely there will be some action taken on them.
Okay. All right. We'll leave it at that. Thank you very much to all our guests. So the political debate around Operation Sindoor, at least in the Lok Sabha, seems to have concluded now with the Prime Minister. It will continue in the Rajya Sabha. We will keep a close eye out on how that will play out in the upper house of Parliament. But the many questions which the opposition raised, and rightfully they should raise in a democracy, that's the job of the opposition. Hopefully the speeches by the Home Minister, the Prime Minister, the Defence Minister would have laid to rest some of those doubts and questions that the opposition raised. We will continue to track the political debate in the upper house of Parliament tomorrow as the second and concluding day for the Operation Sindoor debate in the upper house. But today, on the very same day that the Lok Sabha took it up, the second day of the big Operation Sindoor debate in Parliament, the day began with the Union Home Minister Amit Shah setting the tone with a big announcement, a much anticipated announcement, certainly in the last 24 hours, something that you heard first on this show, on this channel, exactly 24 hours ago. The Pahalgam terrorists had been gunned down by India's security forces. India had avenged one of the worst civilian attacks on its soil. In a joint operation led by the Army, the CRPF and the Jammu and Kashmir Police, 3 Pakistani terrorists who unleashed mayhem in Pahalgam on the 22nd of April were gunned down by the forces. The terrorists have been identified as Suleiman, Hamza and Gibran, and all 3 were killed. The ones who aided these terrorists had been detained earlier. They were brought in to identify these slain terrorists. And not just this, even the weapons that were used in the Pahalgam attack, the bullets and the casings that were recovered from the Pahalgam attack, they were matched with the guns and the weapons that were on the person of the terrorists when they were killed yesterday in fact, on the outskirts of Srinagar. The Pakistani identity was also ascertained by various ID cards and some Pakistani material like food items and chocolates that were found on their bodies. I want to play out some of the reactions and then I'll go across to General Pandey in a moment after this.
ऑपरेशन महादेव में सुलेमान उर्फे फैजल जट अफगान और जिब्रान 3 आतंकवादी सेना, सीआरपीएफ और जम्मू कश्मीर पुलिस के संयुक्त अभियान में ऑपरेशन महादेव में मारे गए। और जम्मू कश्मीर पुलिस के जो जवान थे वो सभी को सदन और पूरे देश की ओर से बहुत बहुत साधुवाद देना चाहता हूं। और मान्यवर ये पूछते थे मुझे कल कि पहलगाम के दोषी कहां गए। ये जो 10 मैंने नाम पढ़े हैं इसमें से 8 ये चिदंबरम एंड कंपनी के समय में आतंकवादी घटना घटाने वाले लोगों को नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने मारा। आपके समय में जो छुप गए थे उनको चुन चुन कर हमारी सेना ने समाप्त कर दिया है। जो आतंकी घटना स्थान से कारतूस मिले थे वो कारतूस का एफएसएल रिपोर्ट पहले से करा कर रखा था।
All right, I want to go across to Lieutenant General retired D.P. Pandey, former General Officer Commanding of the 15 Corps of the Indian Army. General Pandey, we've been asking this question for the last 3 months since Pahalgam happened. Where are these terrorists? Why are they not being neutralized? Can you explain to our viewers today the significance of how these 3 terrorists have been brought to the book, have been brought to justice, how they've been neutralized, and what a difficult and onerous task this was over these last 3 months?
So, firstly, I must tell Zaka that I always believed that there is a high possibility of these terrorists having made good their escape. But the credit goes to Chinar Corps, the privilege I have had to command these troops, that they kept the pressure on from the Pahalgam heights till the entire ranges, which are snow-clad, which have got thick forest. There are hardly any approaches to the higher reaches of the jungles in the mountains, where actually technology and transportation systems fail. They ensured that these people, after having, these terrorists, after having done the dastardly act of 22nd of April, were not allowed to exit or exfiltrate. It is, I can assure you, having served 7 tenures in Valley, to achieve this itself is not a mean task. And then to get them on the Mahadev ranges, Mahadev top, it is something not easy to be achieved. The precision, the surgical manner in which these people were identified, located, controlled, and thereafter neutralized is something, a credit which goes to 4 SF, one of the fantastic battalions which has served under my command. And hats off to those officers and men who continue to remain to do surveillance. And I'm told that entire Victor force and Kilo force on the ranges were deployed for nearly 95 days, carrying out this search, because something like what the entire country wanted to respond to the dastardly act of 22nd April in form of physical punishment to Pakistan and its stooges. There was also a growing demand that the people, the perpetrators who had direct hand in terms of carrying out this act on 22nd April be neutralized, found and given punishment and connected. I think that was achieved. Credit goes to the entire team.
I also want, 2 things that the Home Minister said when he made this announcement today in Parliament. One is that some of the accomplices of these 3 terrorists who are already in NIA custody, they were brought to the location. They were the ones who identified these 3 individuals and identified them as Pakistani nationals. And the second thing he said was there was even ballistics matching. The casings that were recovered from Pahalgam were matched with the weapons that they were carrying on their person. And it is after that ballistics matching and also the technical imprints were matched as well. Can you explain that in layman terms for our viewers, how and why that was important?
Yeah, Zaka, what happens is that it is also a very normal process which you carry out to ensure that the perpetrators are not left out and we are able to have rock solid proof. Old times used to call it dossiers are prepared, detailed investigations and all are done. So if you recall, there were 2 brothers who were picked up by NIA a couple of days back and who had confirmed that they had fed these 3 terrorists at that point of time. So they were that is a human physical confirmation which was required to be done that these people were the same ones who were there. And these 2 brothers had confirmed that they had fed these or given logistics to the 3 Pak terrorists who had come from across and who had also committed the Pahalgam thing. So they were actually willingly in know-how of this facet.
Okay.
The second is there's a sketch also which was prepared of Suleiman, if you recall,
Correct.
which was given out quite, it was showcased, shown everywhere around. I think that that matches with one of the bodies of Suleiman, which is there very clearly. So one facet of a human angle is met. But then, in this era of wanting to have proof and more proof, I think there can't be a better proof than a technical proof, which is when you fire shell casing, as forensics have become so advanced, you can actually very well carry out a calibration, a check that the bullets which were fired in Pahalgam act were similar to the weapon which was used were same which were found on the bodies of these 3 terrorists. Okay. And this facility exists in our country to a great degree. And I think this was done. And it was very important to actually have both human and tech to confirm in terms of forensics.
All right. General Pandey, always a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you very much for joining us and putting that into perspective for our viewers. Thank you very much indeed. So, once again, both on the political side in Parliament as well as on the ground, Pahalgam certainly seems to have been avenged. I want to close out with again playing out a small excerpt from what was a fiery day of parliamentary exchanges between the opposition and the Treasury benches, led of course by the Prime Minister. We'll leave it at that, but continuing coverage on the other side with my colleague Rahul Shivshankar.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
The headline. Now, Amit Shah is speaking, the Home Minister.
पहलगांव में निर्दोष यात्रियों की नृशंस हत्या पाकिस्तानी आतंकवादियों के द्वारा जो की गई और उसके जवाब में देश के प्रधानमंत्री जी ने दृढ़ इच्छा शक्ति का परिचय कराते हुए ऑपरेशन सिंदूर की सेना को परमिशन दी और हमारे वीर जवानों ने सटीकता बहादुरी के साथ पाक स्थित आतंकवादी अड्डों को चूर चूर करने का काम किया। वो घटना पर जो बहस हो रही है इसमें हिस्सा लेने के लिए मैं खड़ा हुआ। माननीय अध्यक्ष जी, सबसे पहले पहलगांव में जो नृशंस हत्या की गई निर्दोष नागरिकों की, धर्म पूछकर उनको मारा गया, इनके परिवार के सामने मारा गया और बड़ी बर्बरता के साथ ये हत्याएं की गई, इसकी मैं घोर निंदा करता हूं और जो मारे गए हैं इनके परिजनों के साथ अत्यंत हृदय की गहराइयों से मैं संवेदना भी व्यक्त करना चाहता हूं। ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के जवाब में पाकिस्तान के हमारे नागरिक ठिकानों पर गोलीबारी की, इसमें भी कुछ नागरिक हताहत हुए, गुरुद्वारा भी टूटा, मंदिर भी टूटा। जो भी नागरिक उसमें घायल हुए हैं और जो हताहत हुए हैं वो सभी के प्रति मैं पूरे सदन की ओर से गहरी संवेदना व्यक्त करना चाहता हूं। माननीय अध्यक्ष जी, कल से यहां पर पक्ष और विपक्ष दोनों की चर्चा चल रही है और स्वाभाविक है जब इस तरह की नृशंस घटना घटे देश में तब इस पर मुक्त चर्चा भी होनी चाहिए, चिंतन भी होना चाहिए, आगे न हो इसकी व्यवस्था की भी चिंता होनी चाहिए। माननीय अध्यक्ष जी, मैं विषय पर आने से पहले आपके माध्यम से सदन को और सदन के माध्यम से पूरे देश को ऑपरेशन महादेव जो कल एक हुआ है इसकी जानकारी देना चाहता हूं। माननीय अध्यक्ष जी, कल ऑपरेशन महादेव में सुलेमान उर्फे फैजल जट, अफगान और जिब्रान 3 आतंकवादी सेना, सीआरपीएफ और जम्मू कश्मीर पुलिस के संयुक्त अभियान में ऑपरेशन महादेव में मारे गए और माननीय अध्यक्ष जी, ये जो सुलेमान है ए श्रेणी का लश्कर तोयबा का कमांडर था पहलगाम हमले में और गगनगिर आतंकी हमले में वो लिप्त था। इसके ढेर सारे सबूत हमारी एजेंसियों के पास है। अफगान ए श्रेणी का लश्कर तैयबा का आतंकवादी था और जिब्रान भी ए ग्रेड आतंकवादी था। और माननीय अध्यक्ष जी, मैं सदन को और सदन के माध्यम से पूरे देश को बताना चाहता हूं, जिन्होंने बेसरन घाटी में हमारे प्रवासियों को, नागरिकों को मारा था, ये तीनों आतंकवादी ये थे और तीनों मारे गए। और मान्यवर, मैं आज इस सदन के माध्यम से सेना के पैरा 4, सीआरपीएफ के सारे जवान जो अभियान में शामिल थे और जम्मू कश्मीर पुलिस के जो जवान थे, वो सभी को सदन और पूरे देश की ओर से बहुत बहुत साधुवाद देना चाहता हूं। माननीय अध्यक्ष जी, मैं इस ऑपरेशन महादेव के बारे में थोड़ा
Viewers, tonight let me get straight to the news point right at the top. Prime Minister Modi today for the first time in the public domain stated with unflinching resoluteness that and I quote him, no leader in the world told India to stop Operation Sindoor. On the night of May 9, the US Vice President tried to call me. He was trying, but I was busy in a meeting.